Hello, everybody. This is episode 47 of In the Know, my daily short form podcast show which is aimed at putting people in the know. A show where I cover a variety of topics using my experiences and viewpoints in life to put people in the know. What is that know? It's the understanding that seems to be hard for people to grasp, which will make their lives a lot simpler. The following is an intro speech into the topic of today. That introduction speech is regarding American education not being allocated more in schools. The American education system is one of the best in the world, but when you're in the public school system, there's still so many problems that the schools are facing because of not only funding, but funding is a major problem. But why don't these schools receive more money for themselves to exist? Well, that is the aim at trying to understand why in today's episode. Why money is really not allocated in America's public schools. Let's look at poor grading. The schools that need the assistance are places that have a history of poor grades by the students, but also the school itself overall has a poor grade by the state. And this is the reason why so many schools have a hard time receiving aid. You can't have a poor grading environment and continue to expect the federal government to continue to keep pumping resources into an environment not performing. Community quality. Students living in poverty have to live with the reality of having a bad and broken school system. Sometimes their parents look around and ask, why don't they just educate their own children? Why would any parent or child be motivated by a circumstance like going to school or a child going to a school that does not pride on cultivating a healthy learning environment? Or maybe the educator wants to cultivate the learning environment, yet they just do not have the resources to perform their job. And this motivating factor has to do with the neighborhood quality that the school resides in at times. Parental involvement. My mother was someone who was always present in the lives of my sisters and myself. The reason being is that she wanted to make sure we were doing our jobs in school. This is the type of involvement that a parent must have for the state to be serious enough to give more funding to the schools for the children. But if it is not important to the parent, then the state won't put much into it either. The federal government wants to see that the people who say they care the most are trying as hard as they say they are about their children's life and the life of us students as parents and teachers together. Potential successes. When you're dealing with a school where the potential success of the students are low, then the state does not see much interest in the school. When the students at the school are not seen as reaching their full potential coming from this school, then you're going to have low engagement from the state. But also, look at the statistics of the school and see the graduation rates, as well as other factors, teen pregnancy, dropout rates, and students being held back in school. These are the limitations that could mean the difference between a school being financed or not. The most obvious is no real revenue stream. Let's be real. Schools are not a real place that brings in money. This is not like we're producing anything here. We're putting into people with the hopes that they will go and produce something which makes the school look good, saying they came from this school. And here's where I come to my next situation, a weak alumni. When you have schools where there are not that many people graduating from these schools coming back and giving money, and the reason being is that most kids will grow up to be middle-class citizens. These are typically not people giving back to an alma mater. Now think about it. When you have an upper middle class income, or better yet, an income that is upper class, they're most likely to give back to an institution. So it makes the government want to see the school with funding when outside money is coming in as well, because now there's a perceived value connected to the school. Now with this end statement, why we all have to care about our nation's public schools. Most of us went to public schools or have children in public schools. And for that reason, when you say it's not your problem or you don't care, you end up affecting yourself down the line with your own children. Because yes, it's not your problem until it's your problem. So, thanks for listening to In the Know. I can't wait to bring the next episode where we talk about being an autodidact to education can be very impactful in your life of learning.